Thank y'all for joining in. Dang, it's already 16, it's 20 people in here.
Yeah.
We're not even gonna waste time letting the beat build. Thank y'all so much for coming in and joining this live. I've been getting texts and messages from a lot of different people about this Target decision to roll back its DEI, and the only times we go live are really for Sunday school. So this is in some ways kind of a special edition of Sunday school. But what a difference a year makes.
Yeah, literally. I think that's one of the things that's kind of blowing my mind the most is the fact that literally last year at this time we were gearing up to be in Target and gearing up to promote diversity and inclusion.
Right.
And now we're on a completely different side of things, which is interesting. So yeah.
Yeah, let's jump in. So to your point, today is January 26th, and literally a year ago, almost to the day, I think it was January 21st, 2024, we were able to announce something that we were so proud of. I mean, just elated to be able to share with the world that that Black Men Smile had been chosen to be part of the 2024 Black History Month collection at Target. That rollout started at the end of January. It lasted through February and part of March. And we were one of 4 brands for what I think was a hell of a collection.
Yeah.
Kind of an unprecedented collection. And we were among 4 brands that have been chosen to be part of the Black History Month collection. And so I didn't realize how big of I knew it was a big deal to be chosen to be part of this collection. I knew it was a big deal that we would be in every Target retail store, and Target operates, I'm looking here, this article, Target operates nearly 2,000 stores across the country. We were in every store. And I see they announced that they won't be doing, things they won't be doing right before Black History Month this year. But we had announced that we'd be in 2,000 stores, and we were among, as we said, 4 brands that were amazing. It was Legendary Roots, House of Alma, Legendary Roots, which is a Black woman-owned brand, House of Alma, which was a Black women-owned brand as a mother and daughter, the G's Bin Collection, which is a legendary collective of Black women artists whose quilts are collected in museums, in private collections, who goes for millions of dollars, aired up, and Black Men Smile. And we were, as you could imagine, over the moon about that fact, and people came and you all supported us. We announced it, and like I said, that was a year ago today. Here we are, January 25th, 2025. We have a new president, and I'm going to read from this AP story just to kind of set the stage what happened, what is actually they're saying that they're going to do. And the point of this live is really to not pretend that we know it all, to not pretend that we have the solution of what exactly should happen, but to have a conversation with you all that we could learn from about how should we move as a collective, and how can we really have a nuanced conversation about what I'm proposing as the 3 different major approaches that people are suggesting on how to move and navigate in the situation. And so we titled this live today, Boycott, Buy, or Business as Usual. Boycott meaning boycott the stores altogether. Buy in a targeted buying campaign, which is supported by 2 people that I know prominently that I am kind of reflecting their perspectives of. Marissa from Retail, formerly Target While Black, Retail by Black, and Tabitha Brown. And the kind of 4th option, which frankly doesn't seem like an option, but overwhelmingly is probably going to be what more people do, and just go about business as usual. I live in a black neighborhood in Atlanta. I'm 5 miles, if that, from a Target in the parking lot jumping.
Mm-hmm.
People love Target, black people.
Yeah.
And many people are going to buy. So the third option is our business as usual. We want to highlight those three options, hear from you what you all think, and
we're going to be bringing some people up too. So if you guys want to add your requests in right now, like go ahead and request to join.
Yeah.
If you already want to share, so when we get to that part, we can just click on you and have you guys join in, because we really want to make this engagement with you, not just us just talking about things, but actually connecting it and having discussion and conversation.
And really parse out what those three options are and kind of hear from people who are standing strongly. I mean, we did a poll before this. It seems like overwhelmingly the poll results suggest that you all feel that targeted buying is the appropriate strategy. And we're going to go through the pros and cons of each of those options and really have a conversation about why you think what you think and what are some valid reasons for really all of those approaches. So, but here is the story. Just briefly from this AP News article, it says that discount store Target said Friday that it would join rival Walmart and a number of other prominent American brands in scaling back DEI initiatives that have come under attack from conservative activists and the White House. The Minneapolis-based retailer, which is interesting that it's a Minneapolis-based retailer, because Minneapolis, Minnesota is where kind of after George Floyd was killed, the center of kind of the nucleus of activists.
Yeah.
Activity happened, and it says that they said that they're going to change this is the formal name of their DEI strategies, belonging at the bullseye. They said they were announcing changes to their belonging at the bullseye strategy, which would include ending a program it established to help Black employees build meaningful careers. So what this rollback says is not just about, and this is an important thing that I think we should consider when we're talking about what is the right approach. What Target announced isn't just what it will do to Black-owned businesses like us that had an opportunity to be in stores. This conversation is, in their strategy, where they're rolling back, affects its very employees. It's called their belonging at the bullseye strategy, and they're making changes to this strategy. And what the strategy included was ending a program it established to help Black employees build meaningful careers, to improve the experience of Black shoppers, and to promote Black-owned businesses following the killing of George Floyd in 2020. So this is what they're rolling back. Target, which operates nearly 2,000 stores nationwide and employs 400,000 people, said it had planned to end the racial program this year. The company said that it would also conclude its DEI goals that it previously set in 3-year cycles. So there's more to this story, but that I wanted to throw that out there. So, the three major things coming from different people on how we should respond are to boycott. So that's the first. Let's talk about the boycott option.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what it means. Let's talk about the pros of it. Let's talk about the cons.
Mm-hmm.
So boycott, which many of you in the chat are already talking about, you support. Boycott means, and the pros, let's just go pros and cons. Let's just jump straight to it. We know what boycott means. Pros of it is you are signaling with your dollar that you don't support Target, you don't support their decision that they made consciously to do this. You don't support them caving to the pressure of a conservative White House administration or your conservative consumer base. It's saying that we will punish you with our dollars for caving to, you had a decision to make and you caved and you made a decision and you are telling the world with your decision where you stand. So boycott is saying, as a result, we're going to withdraw our dollars. In contrast, there are other retailers who did not make this conscious decision. So let's let that be clear. Alongside this boycott strategy, the decision that we will make, Target also made a decision. And there are retailers that did not make the same decision as Target. Costco, for example,
Costco
made a conscious decision that it would not end its. The shareholders and the corporation and the CEO said, this is not a decision we are going to make. We are sticking with ours. And as a result, a coalition of Black activists led by Al Sharpton, I don't know if you know this, they recently led a Costco buy-in where they went in about 100 deep and bought up the shelves in Costco to say, we support you for making the decision to stand with us. So what the boycott option is saying is you made this conscious decision and we're going to make a conscious decision. We're going to show you with our dollars, with our feet, with our action that because you decided this, we're going to decide to not spend money with you. And we want that decision to shift your decision. Also of note for this is that Target caved in part because of pressures that it faced and the backlash that it faced from going kind of hard in the paint in other directions, particularly around supporting LGBTQIA plus communities. They had major backlash, particularly with some of the ways that they advocated for transgender folks. And so now they're like, bump it, we're just gonna end everything. We're gonna cave. What are the cons of that? So what people are talking about for that option as a negative is that we need another option because there are Black businesses like ours was that are in these stores.
Yeah.
And by boycotting, we are affecting the bottom line, the wealth generation, we're economically impacting those Black brands. What some people would say is that it may require hurting those brands. And those brands may have to make a decision themselves to stand in solidarity with the larger boycott movement and in solidarity with Black folks as a whole in order to, let's get Prince up here. In order to, it's collective. We've set a collective agenda, and just like the Montgomery Boyce boycott, it's gonna cost us.
Yeah.
We got to create our own. We got to invent an Uber system. That's what they did in the boycott. We're gonna have to stick to. It's gonna cause us to be late for work. Sometimes some of us are gonna lose our job, but collectively we want to make a statement. Even the businesses that are in there. So I'm gonna pause. There's so many things that we could say. I want to hear what you have to say, and I want to bring up some.
I'm not gonna say much because I wanna leave it open because we opened it up I think well, and I want to leave it open. But somebody brought a valid point, which is also I'll say another thing that can kind of play into it is we need to know these Black brands. It's like, which is another thing that
we need to know which ones are actually in there. And how can we support them?
Because I think that plays into both sides, whatever sides you pick, whether you boycott or whether you only buy direct. If you don't know, if you're unaware, then you're either going to boycott and not be able to support outside when you do, because you're just leaving. If you just leave them to fend for themselves, essentially, because they have no longer that extra, our dollars, and we don't support them outside of that directly to their website or whatever, then we're leaving them. But then on the other side, if we're saying we're going to buy direct, we need to have an inventory of who these people are to be able to. So I think that's another challenge that when we think realistically, what does that look like? Who, like people that we know, like Retail While Black, who are exposing these people, are the people that we're going to have to lean on that we need in this time to be able to support each other, regardless of what we're doing. I think that's one thing we have to gather around immediately is like, let's expose these people, let's expose these Black brands and these businesses in general that are women-owned businesses that are being affected in general. But I think it would be really good to just bring up.
Yeah, what I want to do is say too.
Go ahead, I'm gonna fix something real quick.
Marissa is one of the things that she's done is created it where we don't have that excuse in terms of what are the brands that are in these stores. She's worked to create an archive which she shares on her site of the Black-owned businesses and brands that are inside of Target. I think it also includes links to their independent sites so that you can support.
Yeah.
And, it's just shout out to her for kind of, she has an approach, and we're gonna get to her approach. We tried to get her on here. She's traveling out of the country. Send us a message saying she appreciated it, but that she can't join. But tell us while we're trying to bring up someone. Okay, here we go. What's up, bro?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
Man, appreciate you for joining, man. And we've only gone through the first of the 3 options, but regardless of if we haven't gone through the others or not, I really want to hear from you. What do you think about the situation, and what are some of your reflections on what we're posing as the 3 options? Boycott, buy, or
business.
It's just gonna be business as usual. We're just gonna keep shopping as if ain't nothing happened.
So here's the reality. What I would love to have is the boycott route. And the boycott version is we skip all the middleman and the big corporations, and we go strictly with just us. That would be amazing. But the reality is, number one, just like y'all spoke on earlier, we don't know what brands are actually in these major corporations. We don't know the Black-owned brands. Like, that was just one who it was a baby girl. She was maybe like 6 or 7. She had developed a black doll. I think it's B-rooted, if that's not the business. But she just got her brand in part, literally, maybe this past year. So what ends up happening when we talk about the community and creating generational wealth, now her bottom line suffers, and she just started. Why would we want to do that to her? So I think the most realistic way for us to battle but make a statement at the same time is to buy direct. By also what?
All right, when you say that, just to be clear, because I wanna make sure that when people leave it in the comments what they think about you.
Yeah.
Buy direct, find out who those brands are. Don't buy from them in Target and buy directly from them, even if they just got. Or are you saying buy their products directly from Target? Just
their products. Yes, buy their products directly from Target.
Okay.
And here's why. It's going to sound wild, but here's the reality. We haven't built the infrastructure to say that we can stand alone. Now, with brands like yours, with brands like Cedric the Entertainer, the Spicing brands, these are in the retail stores. So it's more realistic to say we can tackle and have a leg at the table because we don't have our own table yet. I'd rather be realistic with you, because if I had an alternative from Amazon, I wouldn't have Amazon Prime or still have an Amazon subscription if I had a BlackBerry. But I don't. So Amazon has the convenience that I need that can reach me. So now what I can do is specifically go find all the Black brands that are tailored with Amazon or any of these big corporations and support them. And then from there, we can build out, if we're serious about it, we can build out our infrastructure. But at least there's a leg at this table for me.
So just to kind of recap, what you're saying is, since for some of these brands, I mean, this is their opportunity. This is what you're arguing is what Tabitha was arguing. We got someone else on deck to come up too. So don't go anywhere. What was it?
No, that's not.
Okay, that's
somebody else.
So what Tabitha was saying is exactly what you're saying, to kind of recap. It's like boycotting the store is going to impact me. She's not saying what to do. She's just saying she understands if you don't. But you're saying some brands definitely aren't even as big as Tabitha. This is their opportunity, and buy their product off of the shelf and send a message to Target that you support these brands and positively put money in the pocket of those brands. Now, people are already saying it in the chat, and here's the flip side to that. I'm gonna let you can jump in here because we were having this conversation in the car.
Okay.
Actually, I've been talking too much.
No, what was you gonna say?
No, you doing that anyway. You're supporting the.
Yeah, the bottom line.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking in the car about, as much as we understand like both sides, but understanding the fact that, you know, we want to support our black businesses in the stores. But even with doing that, it still supports Target's bottom line. It still gives Target their money regardless. Like, it's not like Target is going to feel our dollars leave because we're only spending it on black businesses that are in their stores. Like, it's in their doors. So it's like they're still benefiting from our dollars getting spent there. So we were talking about that kind of like that position of wanting to support and wanting to make sure that we continue to elevate these our you know, black businesses and the people that are doing it and already in the stores. Because like you said, should they be punished for what's going on when this may be their breakout? This may be, I mean, we were talking about how wild it was that last year we were in Target. This year, all these things are going, and we aren't even in the position where we would have to make the decision or have to have the conversation about what would happen because we're not there right now. We're not in Target, but some of these people are having these issues and these concerns. But we were having that conversation about, regardless, we're supporting Target, even if it's just the black businesses. Somebody said something really interesting in the comments that we saw, though, that said this seems like it might be the last year that they're doing the Black History capsule like we were in last year, that this may be the last year that Target does it. So buy out all the Black History month capsule and then peace out. That's it, Target. That's all you get from us, you know? Which is an interesting take as well. But yeah, I think it's just so it's a lot to dive into because at the end of the day, I think where we're all coming from is we want to support our people. Yeah. Like we want to do what's best for our people. And we have to find that place where we can all help each other because somebody's gonna get affected regardless, you know? Somebody's gonna get affected.
I wanna read another comment. And Della, I would love actually if you join the live.
Okay, we still got somebody. I can look that up.
Della has and owns a black-owned business in Michigan, and has made a comment. Let me read your comment, Della. But I'd love for you to join and kind of offer your counter to what Marcel is saying. Della's saying we don't need to be at the mercy of big box retailers. We are more powerful than we realize. Let's take a page out of the book of our ancestors and elders. Remember the Montgomery bus boycott, which is, you know, what I referenced earlier. So, you know, another thing that I'm gonna throw out here is
she can't help him right now.
She can?
She cannot.
Oh, okay. We also don't know. We don't know what the nature of the contract is of the black-owned businesses. And I'm not sure if what I'm about to say now will impact how you think or what. I'm not sure, but I'm going to just throw this out there. So to give a little bit of TMI, but not too much, different businesses have different deals with Target. To not go into all the details, what we worked out with our lawyers and in an agreement with Target when we were part of the Target, basically, long story short, because I don't want to go into too many details, our contract gave us a guaranteed negotiated percentage of the items that Target purchased before it even hit the shelves. So when Target put all our merchandise in the store, our the deal we had worked out was already secured, and our amount was distributed regardless. Not every. These are what I'm presenting isn't unique to us. These are just different approaches that different brand retailers have with different brands. Some brands, they have essentially like shelf space deals where they have to supply and replenish, and they get paid based on the percentage of sales. And Target isn't stuck with anything. In fact, you don't buy, they don't get paid. Depending on what the contract negotiations are for the brands, our boycott may or may not have. It may have a different type of impact. If you boycott a brand, if you boycott Target and Target worked out with the brand a deal like ours,
you're not hurting.
You're not hurting us.
Because we already got what we
Target gets left with the bag, holding the bag.
Right.
Now,
real question, and if you can disclose this or not, let me know. But do you think that was unique? That was that a negotiated business lawyer deal, or do you think that's typical of how they work with a lot of these type of situations? Let's use Black History Month as an example, since we're coming up on that, Castle. So do you feel like that was the standard? Because people like Tabitha, I think, have a completely different deal.
They do.
So it's like for you.
Now, Tabitha, so I think there are three major categories, and this just, we just giving game and talking probably more broad than stuff that I think there are three major categories to consider. There are people with leverage and the kind of a negotiating power like a Tabitha Brown that has a following and certainly negotiated a deal that's way different than a smaller brand like us. She funded and has the ability to fund, as she said in her live today, independently, I think, her products on the shelves and works out a probably ridiculous percentage of sales type agreement. There are capsules and short-term agreements with brands like ours that I don't know what they did with the other Black History Month capsule, but there are these short-term negotiations and contracts that maybe, like ours, get paid up front, and it's an exposure opportunity, and then we grow based on using the leverage of being in the store and the radical support that we got. Then there are longer term, not as big as a Tabitha, but people who are on the shelves 365 days of the year who have
Beagle, Barber Brand.
Yeah, stuff like that. They have a longer term contract, and I don't know their business, so I don't know how those are structured. But I think that each deal structure and our decision will affect every brand differently. So even in this conversation, none of whatever option we choose isn't one size fits all for every Black-owned brand. It's going to affect it has the potential to affect every brand differently because Target works with suppliers and works out contracts and negotiations that are different. Ours was not, we did not work out a negotiation to have a deal where we would be in the store longer than the period of the capsule. Now, interestingly, asterisk by that comment, one of the brands that was in the Black History Month capsule collection with us last year was invited back
this year
and is back in there this year. And I saw on their page today, they were like announcing that they were part of the collection. They were showing their outfit and was saying, come and buy our product, at Target again. Now, whether it could have been all kinds of things about that deal. It could have been all kinds of things about what they said, what they didn't say. It could have been all kinds of things about their sales. It could have been all kinds of things. It could have been all kinds of factors about why we were or weren't. It could have been things that we put in our agreement that they're like, we can't do that again this year. That, just having legal representation that kind of gave us a deal that they didn't, that they didn't want to support again. But it's not the same for all. Whatever we do, it's going to impact different businesses differently. I want to hear from more. So I'd love to hear what you would say to people who are talking, who you particularly, to people who are saying, maybe our Black-owned businesses need to feel it. They need to feel it. Like for the people who say, sometimes it may cost.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it may, like, in direct opposition to what you're saying, there are people, and I want to hear you say to those people, what do you say if we say, you got to stand on business? Yes, you are a Black-owned brand. Yes, you trying to make it, but at what cost? I'm not saying this is I just want to put it all out there. At what cost? At what cost? Oh, and this is another thing I was telling Jay in the car, was like, if you support me as a Black-owned business and you walk in that store and you buy from them, yes, you may be supporting me. But as a collective, as a group of people, it is at saving me and supporting me in these Black-owned businesses that as a whole, we're not doing. Mm-hmm. We're not sending Target the message that you can. We'd rather go broke, or we'd rather support. We'd rather take the risk on having people buy direct from us and we thrive than to be at your mercy. Than to let you tell us, we're gonna let you have your stuff in our store, but we really don't support you in the programs that say that we support you and your people as a whole. Like, what do you say to someone who's basically like, if it costs these brands, then it costs them. That's the cost that you have to pay if you're gonna be willing to really make a stand or take a stand against oppression. What would you say to that?
Okay, the one with me.
I would say, real simple, and probably even shorter than that, be ready. Because I'm not against it. I presented the one that seemed the most realistic because of where we are socially and all the other factors that come into play, from economics to business, that whole nine. That was the most realistic way that I said how we may be able to tackle this problem. Now, for those who stand on that, I commend you, but be ready for the battle, because ironically, Dr. King was ready, because his birthday just passed, that whole inauguration, that whole thing. Like, Dr. King and everybody who was in the civil rights movement, they was ready for the hoses. They was ready for the dogs. They was ready for the sleepless nights. They was ready for the threats or whatever came after that. They was ready. So if it's going to be that, then be ready. Because it's going to be that hard. Yeah. And it might look different, but it's going to be that hard.
Yeah.
And that's real. And that's something.
And that's what I was thinking too, is like, I think the other thing is there has to be a unified movement. Like, we can't be like broken apart in the way that I know, but I'm just saying, like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the hard place that we face right now with social media and with people, the way people move and the way people boycott. Like, I feel like people are not going to be on the same page to do it. So it has to be enough. It has to be enough where actually we have enough people in unity where they feel it. Because even if we do get a good amount of people who are like, okay, let's boycott, let's stop what we're doing, it still has to be enough for them to feel that. Yeah. Because we know we still gonna get people who are business as usual, and you're gonna get people who may not even understand. Some people don't understand. Like, we had the conversation in the car. Some people don't even understand that you're still supporting the bottom line of these stores by only buying Black.
And some people also don't understand that Target's rollback isn't just about the Black-owned businesses and brands that are in the store. Again, what they announced that they're rolling back is a strategy and a program that was established not just to support Black-owned businesses and brands that are in the store. They are rolling back a program and an initiative that is called Belonging at the Bullseye. That program was established not just to promote Black-owned brands and businesses. That's the interesting thing we got to remember. They're rolling back a program that included a strategy that was designed to help Black employees build meaningful careers. to advance rightfully through the ranks of their stores and to diversify and make sure that they were representing in positions of leadership and in growth and the development of the people who work there, to be equal to and to create an equal playing field in areas that they previously had not shown the commitment to do.
Yeah. I think
they're rolling that back.
Mm-hmm.
So let's
And so if you by granted, well, right now we're talking about supporting people, brands, let's just say like us. Brands like and we're only talking about that. By supporting Target, period, you're saying essentially, and I'm trying to be fair with all of these, you're saying I'm making the choice to support those businesses in there. But that's why I'm making my decision. I'm aligning with this company and their bottom line as a result of that commitment. And I'm saying it's okay for the other things outside of those brands and the other people that are being impacted, including the employees, including all these other initiatives and all these other funds, including probably even funds that they were going to give to outside organizations. And Target was known for its philanthropy. They're probably going to cut all that. It's probably going to include all of that. And their strategy was designed to, and they're going to roll back initiatives that were designed to improve the experience of Black shoppers. They had things part of their strategy to do. They're rolling all that back. So the conversation, not telling you what you should do, but just being sure to make sure that we understand that what they're rolling back are initiatives that have a broader and a greater impact than the Black-owned brands that are on the shelves in the stores.
Yeah.
So who we gonna bring up? You got.
Well, I think she left who we were gonna bring up.
One of the things that Yella said, I want to read this. It says Target chose the Black brands in their stores because they knew they were popping and would positively affect their bottom line. That's why they chose the brand. Like you chose Black and Smile because you saw the movement Black and Smile was making. You chose these other because what she's saying is those businesses have already done the work. They're popping. Essentially, don't let Target ride on the coattails of them. Don't let Target take the credit for being hot when it's actually these brands that have already done the work. They've shown and proved that they're valuable, which is why they got the opportunity in the first place. So support them, find out who they are, support them, and continue to make them pop. That's why they got in that place. That's why they're in that position to even be seen by Target in the first place.
No, I agree.
I hadn't heard that, or articulated that way. That's, who we gonna pull up?
So we're gonna pull somebody else up, bro. But we appreciate
you. Got any last things you wanna?
60 seconds. My last words is I think we should pay attention to the other aspects of what may be rolled back or what may suffer from these programs, because that is a very good point. Because this goes back to my main thing. If these companies are established for 100 years, 50 years, now the way the world is turning, there's no opportunity for franchisation, right? Imagine what it looks like in Atlanta if a Black man owns that Target, and how many Black people can work in all the positions that are run through Target. How many Black families and incomes and households are impacted, when those things are then taken away, rolled back, however else you want to see it. Because I seen it in the Hilton. It was nothing but Black people on my front counter checking my bags, and while it was the Hilton, I was still proud to see that. So, yeah.
Word, bro. I appreciate you for your support. You don't just talk about, look, I called a Pete, look like you wearing one of our shirts right out. We can sell it too. You have the land though. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for supporting us. For sure.
All right. So I don't know how to. Oh, he dropped off. Okay, cool. I don't know if this person is still in here. They might not be in here, so it might not accept it. If not, we'll just keep going. It doesn't look like.
Yeah. What are
But there was somebody else that was.
what are some other things you all think both about?
Well, I want to touch on something you were saying too that I think I'm glad you said it because I was going to say this earlier. Was talking about the this how it's bigger than just the black-owned businesses. How it's like you're rolling back things that would provide job opportunities just in general for black
And growth, particularly growth for those who.
So I think that's something too, is like all of this too is important in the conversation because I think when people are aware of everything that this involves, it gives you a different perspective and makes you want to move different because it's one thing to be like, let's just support the black businesses, but like you said, other people are still getting affected by that. Like no matter if we just support them, they're still gonna get rolled back. Yeah, they're still affected by that.
One thing I want to say too is I was thinking about this is no matter what we do, Target is listening. Target is moving according to what it sees as. Target is moving in response to actions that people have taken. What do I mean by that? Let me try that. Target is rolling this back because the political right made an uproar. They commented. In fact, just us being in the store. You remember the moment they went viral when this woman went into the store and she complained about being hit over the head with the black agenda the moment she walked in the store.
Yep.
She was like, "Why do I have to see this the second I walk in the store?" So this last Black History Month that we were part of, the Target Black History Month collection was prominent. It was at the front of a lot of the stores.
Yeah.
And there was a moment that went viral based on comments that people were saying and were sharing with Target about how they felt about basically coming under attack because they had to be faced with stuff like this. They just want to buy their items and they're having to be faced with all this black stuff. Target is also responsive, maybe in a cowardly way, maybe in making businesses, whatever you want to put it. They felt pressure because of all the backlash they got whenever they took the stand in supporting the LGBT, advocating for LGBTQ community. So people made major noise saying that they were offended by that they had taken it too far. So essentially, Target is really just caving based on the response of the response and the feedback that they're getting. It's like, I wonder if it's like what can we do if that is our option to make them respond to us? And I think it's I don't even know if we're in that position though, because there are so many of us who are not going to who are going to choose the business as usual route that I don't even know if they have to respond to us.
Yeah. And that's what I was going back to.
They really don't.
There has to be some type of actual unity behind what we're doing, and it has to be enough people for them to feel it. That's what I was saying when I was saying that, because I was like, if we get our team and our people and all these things and get everybody together to make this decision. Let's say we boycott Target, but they ain't losing no sleep. They ain't making no changes. Like, it has to be enough for them to feel like you said. So are we in a position? Do we have the support to be able to even have them even listen? Like, bring their attention to it.
But what some people are saying, and now to go kind of give more space to the targeted buying, some people are saying that the action that we can take, and I'd love to hear, people who feel this way articulate that thought, is that the action that we can take is targeted buying.
Yeah.
Boycotting is an action, and it can show, and they'll have to respond to it. Another is to show out and go above and beyond with how we actually support the brands that are there.
Yeah, because I think what we didn't talk about, which is very real. This is something I think we can go to next. Is if we think about it, that's it. Yeah. But if you think about it, think about the capsule last year. We were a part of the Black History Month capsule last year that you said 4 brands. It was us, it was G's Ben, it was Legendary Roots, and
House of Alma.
Yep, House of Alma. So we had these 4 brands, right? And clearly, it's not just about, even if everybody had the same arrangement that we had, here's your stuff up front or whatever, now we bring your stuff into stores and it's exposure, those type of things. Even if everybody had that, for some reason, there was something about Legendary Roots that brought them back for this year's capsule, right?
Sales, probably.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. So there was something there's attention that was brought back by the sales or by the things that brought them back into the stores, which means they're paying attention to what is not just, it's not like they're just, like we said, yeah, it affects their bottom line. They still get money even if we spend with Black brands. But there is something to, if you spend with certain Black brands, it actually brought their attention to even want to bring them back. I'm saying that to say, if we go with the buy direct from Black option, we are still, clearly there is still a message to be sent because you're showing this is where I spend my dollars. So if you take it or you roll it back out of your store, then now you're going to be actually losing on the dollars that you could be potentially getting.
But what if, check this out. What if we all right now did the research, found out what brands are in the store that we like and support, and spend every dime, commit to spending every dime that we would have spent in store directly with those brands? First of all, I can tell you this without giving any numbers. If you bought a hoodie from me directly, the net profit on the sale would be greater if you bought it from me directly than if you got it from Target. Now, granted, my exposure is certainly less as an individual than it would have been in store.
Somebody's in here too. I'm dead.
Yeah, let's get somebody else. Okay. But if we leverage Target's exposure, Target has exposed this brand to the world, and if we took every dime and at the same rate that we would have gone in store and supported this collection, if we go directly to the site and spend every dime of that money directly with the brands, we're still supporting that brand.
Yeah. But that's what I would say. I'm going back to your point, though, of can we make enough noise for them to even hear us? Like, are we in a position to do that? So going back to if we spend our direct dollars with the Black business, this is going back to the Black business and not as much as the other things. But if we're spending our dollars with the direct Black business, there's a good chance we're going to have a split. There's going to be split support of that, where some people are still going to business as usual, some people are still going to go to Target, and some people are going to spend directly with the Black business. But going the route of spending in the store, you're actually sending the message directly to Target. Now, granted, it still comes with its things, but you're still saying that's a message that they can directly hear, and I feel like more people can get behind that versus it's going to be hard to rally the troops for everybody to go spend these out. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but
let's hear how you doing, bro?
Good, brother.
Yeah, man, we'd love to hear from you. Tell us what you introduce yourself and tell us what your thoughts are and kind of why you would take the approach that you would take of the three.
Okay, my name is Gary Lewis. I am the founder of the brand I Am Dad 365,
Okay.
which is a lifestyle brand. But yeah, my approach is definitely directly from the manufacturer, which is us, directly from us, versus going into any store. I I believe that if we circulate the dollars within our communities, one thing I dislike about uh, going into the stores, most times the stores are in communities that they don't, support. So it's dollars coming out of our community that don't go back into the community. If I shop with you, or if I shop with you, I know that money is going to be circulated within our system, within our community. So it profits the mom and pop type business. I have a storefront. I was on the streets for 6 years with my brand, pop-up table all throughout the city of Chicago. And, I ship most states I ship. I even had some international orders. So I say you continue at your brand. I don't think like the Giants, I think that day and age is up. The Gucci's, the Louis, people just buying that for fun nowadays versus it's a status. Having someone that's us, represent us, that's meaningful to us, it's a plus.
So what would you say? I appreciate you sharing. I'm gonna hop on two things that you said only to engage you in directly in the comments that you made and allow people to jump in here and share their thoughts too. One is, what would you say to someone that says in eras of economic downturn where people are struggling to make ends meet, what some of these big box retailers are offering is an opportunity for people to feed their families. Not even the brands that are inside of them. I'm taking your point about when you were like, they're not doing anything to help the communities. Let's say, you have a teenage daughter, her first job is at Target. Your auntie is a cashier. Your grandmother is a greeter. That's three people in one family that work at Target. And some people are saying that is how they're feeding into them.
I even disagree with that.
Okay. I'm just throwing it because I know that's what.
Yeah. Yeah, but typically the big giants pay less to people. That's why they be boycotting and the Starbucks of the world, the McDonald's. You would think that they, being that they are the giants and they making so much money and profit that they would pay their workers more. No, that's not the case. So I would be even more willing to support. See, the problem is we fear business. Our people are just prone to fear of business, being in business for yourself. Everybody has anxiety when it comes to business. They teach working in school. They don't teach business. So once we get over that fear of just being in business for ourselves, as used to be the case. We used to be in business we used to do business within the community, the Black Wall Streets, the Black Wall Streets of the world. So once we get over that fear of, taking our dollars to some place that we think is safe, the Targets of the world, because they can afford to give a cheaper price. But once we get off ground level and continue to support each other's business, we would be able to give each other better prices than anybody that would come into the communities. But let's not be dependent on these giants employing us. Let's employ ourselves. Our mothers, our nieces, our babies. Let's teach them to be in business for themselves.
Let me hop on my
apology. My sincere apology. Somebody tagged me into this.
Oh,
so I didn't get the full drawing.
No,
This is
I'm grateful that you're sharing your reflections. That is exactly why we did this live.
Mm-hmm.
I feel no need for you to apologize for sharing your thought. your opinion, offering your valuable perspective. Brother, I see you. I value you,
Yes, sir.
your business, your perspective, and for encouraging us to overcome fear and move into our purpose and have an abundance mindset. I'm just asking you questions to allow you to more thoughtfully flesh out your ideas for people who are listening that might not be able to, who might combat what you're saying and give you an opportunity to say what I'm imagining they might say. So we can grow. Well, another thing that you said that I want to just throw out there, which I've heard and I've read in the comments, and I know this to be true. I'm going to be frank. Not saying that I disagree with your opinion, but another counter would be people who would say the exposure is unmatched. So I'm using what you were saying to, you're in Chicago, you're doing the independent business. What would you say to the person that would say, by being in one of these retailers, they can go from being seen by the 500 people that pass them on the street to, in any given day, there's 5,000 people in Target stores every hour. So by being in a major big box retailer, that brand, let's say your brand was in Target, your reach went to, over the course of a month, 7 million people versus your reach on a month being out of your trunk might be 7,000, maybe.
Well, are we talking Target online? Because I don't see 7,000 people walking up and viewing an item. So for the entrepreneurs that I'm speaking to, they should focus more so on their online business, their online presence, because they can get 1 million. They can get 1 million, but are they ready for that supply and demand? Are they ready for that? So be careful what you wish for. Just already always have yourself in preparation for whatever's to come. I don't knock nobody that's going into a Walmart or a Target, to each his own. But I'm saying collectively, yeah, you may have a few individuals that may benefit, but at us as a whole, do we all benefit as a whole? No. Target doesn't benefit us as a whole. So let's stop looking individually and look collectively.
I want to ask you one more question, and we'll try to get someone else up here. Can you tell us a little bit about, you are a brand, you are a business, and let's let this be an opportunity for you to tell us about yourself and how the people who are gathered here and the people that we share it with can support you. I think that we're in a position as a brand that has had an amazing amount of support, an amazing following, to be able to support others. And I don't want this to just be a conversation about an abstract, a conversation where we're talking in theory. You're a real person with a real brand. I'd love for you to take a minute to tell us about who you are and how we can support you.
So my name is Gary Lewis. I was forced to be an entrepreneur. I went to federal prison at the age of 21 for a drug conspiracy, right? I learned to read and write while incarcerated. And the same communities that I was destroying with the sale of drugs, which I came up in the Robert Taylor housing projects, right? No excuse, but I was accustomed to doing wrong before I even knew right? Before I even knew the difference between right and wrong. So in 2008, I got released from federal prison. I got an apology from the Supreme Court, crack versus powder disparity. And I started in 2008, first day, because I had 2 teenage boys. My 20s was spent in federal prison. My son was 3 and 5. So my son was 13 and 15 when I made it back home. So it was my logic to be an example to my boys. I didn't want to just be someone that talk it and not walk it. So it was hard for me to get a job with the felonies. So I started my music management first. And in music management, the drill scene was coming about early 2010. And I learned quickly that we were being used. Chicago were being used to influence the world, as is the case. So I stepped up out the music game in 2015 when the death of Tyshawn Lee, a 9-year-old kid, was executed for something his dad allegedly did. I went to the funeral, and from that funeral, I started a conversation with the person that was doing a eulogy, and we started Strong Futures. Now, strange how I Am Dad came about. In 4 years, I worked as a mentor, and I lost 3 mentees due to gun violence. And that's for I Am Dad 365, because I had quickly concluded that there's a correlation between the lack of dads and the violence, and I wanted to do something about it. So I don't necessarily see this as a luxury brand or a fashion brand. This is a lifestyle brand, and it's a walking billboard, and it's meaningful. My concept is all men are dads. It takes a village to raise a child. So it's not necessarily about your children. The village is your children. So for individuals that they're not a father biologically, I want them to know that they are a dad to the village. So this is a movement of bringing the village back together. So I got shirts, hoodies, hats, and I got nice apparel because I like nice stuff. So I used to buy T-shirts, every day. So now I am proud to have my brand, and it's an upliftment. So I get inboxes all day long, and people tell me, "Man, I love the shirt. I feel proud wearing it." And you can look down my timeline. I got celebrities, so I got all of the makings of being a big box, but I'll choose not to.
Bro, I salute you, particularly being a formerly incarcerated person and making a decision to, based on your family, based on wanting the days ahead, knowing that the days ahead of you didn't have to be the days that were behind you. We salute you, bro. I want you to put in the chat where we can find and support you, and I want to make a commitment to. We're gonna go on after this, and we want to purchase $100 worth of gear from you. And,
Yes, sir.
And
That's the website. I just posted right there. The website is there.
we got you, man. Thank you so much. We're gonna bring someone else on.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to build with you brothers. So it's not necessarily all the time about financial, to support me financially, which I would like that and appreciate.
Yes, sir.
But it's all about us giving. I'm not a taker, I'm a giver. So if I can't give to you physically, I'll give to you verbally.
Yes, sir.
And if I can't give to you verbally, I'll pray on it. I'll send prayers your way.
Thank you, bro.
Bad way. And uplifting.
Send them our way. We appreciate it. We need them, especially in these times. Thank you, bro.
Thanks, bro. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you for joining us. I saw your comment before we even went live, and you were already engaging. And when I saw you come into the chat, I immediately tapped.
I thought I missed it. I was like, oh man, did they?
No, we still go. We're probably going longer than we expected. But
Okay.
tell us who you are and what your perspective is on the 3 options. Do we boycott? Do we do target buying, or do we just?
Yeah.
It ain't gonna matter anyway, and we just do what we're gonna do. We go to Target and we buy what's gonna buy anyway. What's your thoughts?
A little bit of that, right? So my name is Constance Panton. I am the owner and founder of Bifty's Gifts. And Bifty's, like, our mission is to make supporting multiple Black-owned businesses easy through gifting. So if you are a business owner and you want to send gifts to your corporate clients or your employees, we do that type of stuff. So we do gifting, and every product in our gift boxes comes from Black-owned brands, even down to the card, right? So when I saw your question, I'm like, okay, my first reaction was it's a little bit of both, because you can't just say, I'm not going to go. If you're not going to go to Target because you don't want to buy Charmin toilet paper or what, okay, that's fine. But we have to also remember that being inside a Target as a Black-owned brand, you have metrics that you have to meet. You have sales goals that you have to meet. You have inventory that you've now put up front to give to them in order for it to be sold. So the reason why I'm kind of like so passionate about it is because if I had posted about this earlier was, we had an opportunity to be in a big box retailer and I had to say no, even though I went all the way through the whole process. Like it was just a matter of just dropping off the inventory. And what had me pause was the buyback. I was going to be in 100 stores. Like this, I prayed on this. I manifested this. And we're like, we're going to do this with you. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. When I went through the clause and it said, number one, you have to supply inventory for 100 stores. You have, that's all upfront, right? And then now they're going to take maybe 60 days to pay you back, to pay you, as the products are sold. It takes time. You don't get your money right away sometimes. But it was the buyback that I couldn't handle because it was only going to be a 6-month contract. At the end of 6 months, all that inventory that I've given all those 100 stores, I have to buy back from them now.
Okay, can I pause you right there?
Yeah.
I want you to explain this. So before you hopped on, I was trying to, without going into all the details of how different contracts work with different countries, companies, I was offering to the audience that whatever decision we make, it may impact brands. It's not a one size fits all.
Right.
Some retailers and even some brands inside the same retailer have different contracts.
Right.
Depending on the time that their contract is going to be for, whether it's a capsule like ours were for a set amount of time, or if you're a big person with X amount of following, you have leverage to negotiate differently.
Right.
What I was trying to explain was the point that you're raising right now. And I didn't go into details, and I'd love for you to kind of talk. When you say buyback, people might not know what that means.
Yeah.
But essentially, what you're offering is how, in our case, and for the capsule and for the short amount of time that we were there, we had a different type of contract where we didn't have the buyback clause.
Okay.
So what I was trying to explain was that if you were right here where Jeremiah and I was here and we was Black Men Smile, boycotting may affect me differently than you.
That's
depending on the contract that we have. So tell us what you mean by buyback. Tell us whether we boycott or whether we buy directly. Tell us what each strategy would affect you differently than it might have affected us. That's why. Thank you.
Because, like you said, there may be a brand right next to me. Tabitha Brown probably doesn't have the same contract that I have. You know what I mean? Black Girl Sunscreen probably now has a different contract than I probably had. But you don't know this, which means if I was inside of Target and you decided, the country decided, or, Black community decided, I'm not going there anymore, I had to buy back my product. So they're going to pay me. I send them 10,000 units. They're paying me for those 10,000 units. They paid me. So now I had a 6-month contract. At the end of 6 months, if they only moved, or I only moved 3,000, that's 7,000 units I got to pay them back for. Because it's not like it's on consignment. It's not like I'm giving it to Target and then as you sell, well, no. They paid you for that. And now it's like you had to move this volume. And not only that, also depending on your contract, there is no advertising. Target is not advertising on behalf of 50s or Black Men Smile. They're not doing that. There's no targeted advertising, which means I need to go in and make sure my community is moving those inventory.
This is the nitty gritty that I was like, Jay, get. I didn't know you were going to offer this kind of wealth of information, but this is the difference. See, people have been asking us, and we have an opinion and a thought based on how our contract worked.
Right.
Ours was a short amount of time, but Target, because it was part of the Black History Month collection, Target marketed the heck out of it. It was a full-on commercial.
See that?
With Black Men Smile in it. It was, and people are coming to buy that, whether they know we're in there or not. The Black History Month collection. That aside, there are brands like yours, and I heard. So I have a friend that also has a hot sauce. I'll just say that's in there. And he was telling us about the buyback and how not only the things that you said, if
what's the word when people steal your stuff that they use?
I didn't even get to that yet. I was gonna make
It's a word,
that too.
reduction, harm, crop, whatever it is. It's some word that they use. They're like, we didn't sell it. It's not accounted for. You got to pay us
Yes,
for
sir.
what we lost.
Yes, sir. Okay.
If there was no barcode, if you put 10 items on the shelf
That's crazy.
and it sold out, but only 3 of them scanned because 7 of them got stole. You, my sister who's on the screen right now, has to give Target.
That's
Yes.
great.
Yes. Yes. There is no loss prevention.
That's for the loss privileges.
There is no loss prevention.
You have to pay them
Yes.
for their loss.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So these are the things that, and again, I'm just trying. I want people that are on this live to have information and to be able to think about whatever. And so these are the things that I don't think people.
So with all that being said, I'm genuinely curious on where you're standing with everything going on right now, knowing that I know you're not in stores right now, but having the potential and what that would have looked like from your perspective. Where do you stand on this? Because I didn't even know that part, and then I was unaware of the buyback. I knew they were different. I knew there was different. We had a different. I knew there could be different contracts and different things, which we talked about, and I said, I said this. No matter what we do, somebody's getting affected and somebody's getting hurt. Like it's no matter what we do. So where are you with all of this right now as a business?
My thought is go to those stores and buy those products. Do not just abandon. If I go to Target just because I want to buy lip bar, you know what I mean? Yeah, you could buy it off the site, but you know what? Let me go in there. Let me move it. What I am saying is that I feel as though it's not one or the other because somebody is going to get hurt. At the end, I don't know what the contract is going to end. When they end and they have to go buy back that inventory, they got to house that inventory. They got to ship that inventory. Just go to the store and buy those products. Even if you're only going just to get those products, do it. Because you can't just leave them hanging high and dry because that's going to affect their business. At the end of the day, it's going to affect their business. I'd rather we buy it and then the lip bar or Black Girl sunscreen or whoever can say, you know what, Target, I want to change up the contract. Maybe we only, maybe we're going to be doing 100 stores, maybe 50 stores, but put the power in the brand's hands. If we stop going to Target and now they're not meeting their metrics, they're not pulling that volume, and when and if that contract ends, they're going to have to pay that back. And no one's saying, oh, we're going to now go to this spot and we're going to buy from them. No, we're not even addressing that. We're just saying we're not going to go to Target. But that's where they are. So go there and let it buy out. Buy it out in your store, in the one in your town. Make sure there's no Black Girl sunscreen. Make sure there's no Black and Bold coffee. Make it all gone. And then Black and Bold, when they get their metric that says, oh, in the Springfield, Ohio store, you're out of product. Do you want to re-up? You want to add? Black and Bold be like, we're good. We can leave Springfield, Ohio out right now. We'll concentrate on the rest and let them make that business decision that makes sense for their business. But let's not make it worse for them.
Yeah, I think the thing too is like kind of going off of what you're saying is like a lot of people are saying, boycott because the power is in the Black dollar and the power is with the Black businesses. But I think some insight that you're providing that is really good is like spending it there for those Black businesses empowers those Black businesses to then make decisions later that we can actually make the shift. The shift may not happen right now, but if we empower them now to then down the line, we are now more powerful because if the Black businesses are deeply affected by the boycott, it could take us longer to recover and to build whatever we need to build to sustain and to even employ employ our own community and bring our own community in to build our own things for ourselves. But we have to first have the power, have the negotiation, have the money, whatever, to do those things. So I think that's something that you provide some good insight and thought perspective on that.
Now, to be fair to everyone else that has come on the live before you, I offered a counter that I want to hear your response to. The counter that I want to offer you, I've already said it to someone else, but I want you to respond to this, to those that would say, there are those who've used the Montgomery bus boycott as a counter to what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And that is to say, thinking of yourself and your independent brand and the harm that it may cause you and the economic loss, the economic impact on you as an individual brand is real, but it's bigger than you. There are those who would say, collectively, as a people, when it was Montgomery bus boycott, everybody didn't ride the bus, even if it meant some of us might have lost our jobs, even if it meant some of us was going to be late to work, even if it meant some of us had to basically drive 5 people to work every morning. We collectively said we wanted to show the company that as a whole, not just for the brands that are there, but us as a whole, we don't stand with initiatives that not only impact the retailers, but you are rolling back initiatives that affect and impact the very people who work in your stores. And one of the things that I read earlier, just to offer you, give you the opportunity to respond to the same things that everyone else. What Target is rolling back is an initiative in response to their caving to the conservative right. And they're making decisions. This is from the AP News article. This is one that I said that I pulled up that kind of broke down on the multiple layers what Target is doing. What Target has decided to change is its belonging at the bullseye strategy. The belonging at the bullseye strategy was an initiative that Target established to help Black employees build meaningful careers. People who work there. There was a strategy to help them grow up the ladder, to have management positions, and it was a strategy that helped improve the experience of Black shoppers, as well as, thirdly, promote Black-owned businesses. But it's multiple tiers, and they're rolling it all back.
Okay.
So what would you say to those that are like, it may hurt you, it may impact you negatively, but as a whole, we can't stand by and support and give our money to a company that is basically saying, as a whole, we don't support initiatives that globally support your people, and both that are on our shelves as those that are inside the company. And though it may hurt you for us to not go into the store, it's the choice that we have to make. Because as a whole, if we don't send a message to this company, they're going to basically feel like they could do whatever. And you as an individual will be well, but us as a collective of Black entrepreneurs, Black businesses, the Black dollar as a whole is basically going to be seen as we can do whatever we want. And they're not going to change anything. What would you say to that?
And you were describing that scenario, right? And those programs, the image that was coming to my mind was that it's a burning building, right? And I got people in there from my community inside that building. And I feel like we need to save those people as however we can, and then figure out how to go forward as a community together. But I don't feel comfortable in just, it's almost like it's black and white. You roll back, you're doing this Target. Okay, Black community, we will no longer support Target. And I know we've done that, but I feel like where's the support for the people that are there though? I just don't think it's just black and white. I feel like it should be phased. It should be a phased approach. Let's pull our people out first. Like we do as a country and we go other places. Let's pull our people out. Make sure they get home safely. What's the next step? The next step is, okay, we're going to start doing this. I don't think at this point our community is at a place where we could legit pull back from a Target indefinitely. people may do it today, tomorrow, next week, whatever, but we don't have a process in place. So you're gonna say you're not going to Target, but you need to have a plan. And I don't think we have a plan. I think now the plan is, okay, let's make sure that our community is inside of Target. We support them. And then are there subscriptions available? Where are you getting your toilet paper? I use Real. I have it on subscription. It comes every 6 weeks or whatever. What are you doing to replace it? Because I feel like we get so emotional. Like, okay, that's it. We ain't doing Target anymore. Okay, I get Montgomery bus boycott. I understand why that was necessary at the time. But this is not that time. This is a different time because the bus driver is Black now. You know what I mean? It's not back before when it was easy to just say, hey, I ain't going. No, it's different. It's different. We can't compare the two because this is a different time. We got people, legit businesses that are employing people in these department stores that we have to just make sure we take care of them first and then say, okay, community, we see what happened. What are we going to do now? Where are you getting your supplies from? Where are you getting your cereal from? Where are you getting, we got to think about it that way and slowly take your hand out the lion's mouth. You don't.
To that point, I want to reflect some other comments that were in the chat where people were saying, first of all, thank you. Thank you for this extended amount of time. Thank you for you being transparent and sharing your perspective that you did not have to. Thank you for the education. And this perspective on the burning building, but we have people inside. It's not just that. It makes me think about the comments that people made kind of related to this, where they were saying the fact that this is happening at the same time because I don't think they've canceled the Black History Month collection this year. It's like they made this announcement 2 days before Black History Month, where people normally go in droves to buy out that collection. We gonna buy that out generally regardless, even if people don't even shop at Target. There's people who I know when we were there that were like, I don't shop at Target all year because most of the other things they have, I can get elsewhere. That's right. But they're the only place that has this kind of a collection. And so I come and I buy everything Black History Month. So some people are saying, what people were saying in the chat was what you were saying is like, let's phase it out. Let's get our people off the burning bus. And then we can put some gas on the bus after that and burn it down. But let's get our people out first. I appreciate that nuanced, that approach. And I like that what we're offering on this live, we're offering multiple perspectives for people to, I'm not telling anyone what to do in this point in the conversation. What I do value, though, is depending on your perspective, depending on where you're standing, you are being impacted differently. And knowledge is power, and being able to hear from multiple people who are standing at a different position helps us be able to make a more conscious decision.
Yeah.
There was someone who was on right before us. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, did you have more for her? Because I was going to pivot.
I was only going to say the brother who was on before was like he has a changed perspective and probably wanted to. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'll wait. We can finish over here.
You sure?
Yeah.
Did
he want to respond to what she was saying?
I think he does. He was like, I didn't know. Okay. Basically, he didn't know what you were.
Okay, so I'll say this. I'm curious, and this is not directly to you, but I'm to the people viewing. I'm curious on if anybody has the perspective of boycotting, because I feel like we've had a lot of people share on the buy direct or a mixture of the two or whatever, and you've done great at kind of giving perspective, but I want to hear somebody.
There are people who in the chat
are like
powerful,
but I want to hear
more live.
I want to hear it because I want to hear. I'm so curious on what that would look like to them, because I've heard a lot of. I can understand what you're saying. Slow roll it, pull it out. I'm understanding that. even more because I feel like you said, it's not the same times. Like when you said the bus driver was black, exactly. Like I think, like it's real though. It's like there's a different entanglement that we have in the system that I can understand, and so I can see where people are saying, okay, let's support the people who are there so we can do this. Somebody else was like, in the comments was like, how are these black businesses serving us? Which I feel like there are a lot of black businesses that are, but I'm curious to hear like, okay, if that's your take, what is your, okay.
I'm there at 365. I was like,
you ready to get up? Okay.
He ready.
365.
He's
So look.
He
How about this? We're gonna because we now see that we can work for both of them. We're gonna have you all have an exchange, and this is that I don't want to have already. So we're gonna wrap up that. But I would love for in a real time conversation.
You want to have them both up then?
I don't know if we could do four, but bring up.
No, not. They're not here.
Yeah, bring them up so that we can all talk.
He's have 4 boycott.
I hear you. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
Exactly what you asked
had the
for.
greatest album of all time.
So thank you guys so much for giving me this opportunity to make the corrections, because I spoke without knowledge of what Target,
The multiple layers of what
yeah,
was on back. Yeah.
Yes, the decision that Target made. So I can't stress enough the importance of us pulling out of these type of situations, right? Because we have the money. Collectively, we have the money. We are funding these businesses to do us wrong. Give you an example. I think this was 1920. Cadillac didn't sell to blacks. For 1901, Cadillac didn't sell to blacks, right? And the Great Depression happened. The economy crashed. And being that we couldn't put our dollars into white banks, Cadillac allowed us to buy. We had money. We had money under the mattress, right? We had under the mattress money. We went and bailed Cadillac out, bro, for them allowing us to buy a Cadillac, because back in the day we couldn't buy a Cadillac, right? So if we still got that same mentality though, thinking that we need some people when we have the money. All we need to do is spend with each other. That's all we need to do. We don't need no soft exit plan. We don't need any of that, because guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna cater to us. They're gonna cater to us. If we decide to boycott and pull our funds out, they will collapse. So they're gonna pacify us. Once again, they will pacify us. They will use our bright minds. They will buy out our bright minds to convince us to continue to support them.
Target has been in business prior to any DEI initiatives to put us on the shelves. Target is not gonna fall if we pull our dollars out. I mean, I understand the sentiment. I don't think so. Target has been Target.
You don't know
How many black traders are inside of Target right now? There's probably, let's just say there's 20. I'm not even going to say 50. Let's just say there's 20. Target has been around. So we stopped shopping at Target. It's not going to crumble Target. It's just going to make it inconvenient for a lot of people to whoever get their groceries from Target or whatever they do at Target. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's going to crush them. I honestly don't think so.
You must don't know the power of the black dollar and influence that we have.
Sir, I know exactly how powerful the black dollar is. So that's why I think my business is to make sure we direct that into our businesses as much as possible. What I'm saying is that
I must ask you this question. Do you work for Target? Are you an employer? No. Are you an employee of Target?
No.
No, I just asked the question. I'm not there funny. I'm not being funny.
I'm not.
I just want to know if you had any
metrics to like talk about. So what right now we're in an impasse. Essentially, what you're saying, brother, is you stand by the boycott, even though you got that nuanced information. And what you're saying is you use the Cadillac example, and what you're saying is right now, don't pay them to play with us. Pull out, and they will respond the same way they felt threatened by when people threatened to pull out by some of their other initiatives. And what you're also arguing is that we collectively in the amount of money that we spend have that power, and if we collectively pull out, it will bring the company to their knees. What you're saying, sister, is Target has been around longer than the amount of time that we've supported them at the level that we do. And if we pull out, it will not bring them to their knees. The math isn't, what you all are not having is a math conversation. You're saying the math isn't math, and we don't have that kind of collective power to do that. And what you're saying, brother, is we absolutely do. At this point, I don't have the numbers to say which of you all are correct.
Right.
I have an opinion, but it's not going to really change anything about this conversation. I just want to make sure that for those that are listening, because right now we just going to go back and forth. For those that are listening, that they understand what your two arguments are and can think about them from either do the research and then come to their own conclusion, or just say that I agree with the brother, I agree with the sister. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Let me say this.
Not going to Target for your everyday necessities and buying it somewhere else. I'm all for that. I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? This alone has already made me feel like, okay, I don't need to go to Target. I actually don't need to go to Target for a lot of things. However, what I'm saying is that once you do that, I don't know what the next step is, because that could mean to somebody, I'm not going to go to Walmart. I'm not going to Giant. I'm not going to Safeway. You know what I mean? No one's ever saying, how are you going to take that boycott and translate that into black dollars? How are you doing that? All we're saying is we're going to make them feel it. Okay, fine. We're going to make them feel it. But then what? What's the next phase?
Okay, I have the answer to that. Here, there was quite a few assaults of Asians assaulting young black women. And we boycotted the nail shops and the salons. And now there are young women that open up their own business, and that money is going to a black nail tech, a young black nail tech. So there are businesses right now that's giants, black businesses that can replace the Target. All they need is the support of the community. Does that make sense? All they need is the support. So we can do like we've done it before. We don't need Target. Target need us.
I don't, and I'm trying to make sure that the person speaking, that you understand. My point was, before we boycott it, make sure we take care of the black-owned businesses that are inside of Target, because it's going to be a financial burden once they have to either their contract expires and they have a lot of inventory they need to account for. There's something that happens on the business end. I understand you're giving the consumer side, but I was speaking on the business aspect of a business retailer in a big box store and how that financial repercussion would affect me and my business. So I just want to make sure that for those who had just joined and for you rejoining, that you understand what my position was. I am not at any point in time saying that a boycott wouldn't be beneficial. That's fine. All I'm saying is that as of right now, we have genuine, and as per Cornelius's point, 9% of our businesses are inside of Target. That's 9%. That's substantial. It is a accomplishment in as far as I'm concerned, for a business to get into a big box retailer, because I know the financial burden that they had to give in order to get there. So I just want to make clear that I'm not saying boycott, that's fine. I'm just saying we got people in the building. Let's take care of them and then come up with what we want to do next.
So
from a business.
Last piece.
I want to say, I'm gonna hold that thought, bro. Don't forget it. Don't let me interrupt you, make you forget your thought. I just want to say this right here, and I want to see if we can get some clarity on this. So, Cornelius Kirk 919 made a comment. One, I haven't fact checked that, so I'm not saying it's correct or incorrect.
Right.
I don't want us to run with it as if it's correct. I do want us to use it as leverage for having this conversation. But one thing that I want to make sure that we're even representing his fact correctly. What you offered was the reflection of his quote to say that we represent 9% of the businesses on the shelves. That could be what he meant. That could be.
Okay, yeah.
It could. I'm not saying it's not. What one could interpret that as, which would make a different argument, is that we make up 9% of their business, meaning their revenue. So what that would mean is it's two different stats. They have different impact. I think that if we represent 9% of their business, meaning 9% of their revenue, then if we took that away, then your point of them still thriving or being profitable or being an intact business, it would still remain. So I'm not sure which side it is, but
yeah, you're right.
You said it from one way, and you made your argument.
He said I'm spending consumer.
Huh?
He meant spending consumer. The spending consumer is 9% of the business.
So we're 9% of their market. So if we took that away, if this is true, I ain't looked this up, so people could have put anything to. But if that's true, then your point would have a little bit more credit in that. Even if we took it away, they'll be like, all right, fine, go. Now, like, we'll make that up somewhere else. That's correct. I would just pause and say,
if we're not
the way I want to just talk like we ain't on camera. I'm just going to say, the way niggas around me shop at Target, that number got to be off somewhere.
Bro, 9% is crazy. There's no way.
But if it is, that's
even if we bumped it up and be like, black people are 10% of Targets, like
it's
a crazy low number.
It gives them the ability to say
nothing. It gives them the ability to say nothing because as far as they're concerned, it's like a little mosquito buzzing around their ear. You know what I mean? It's not going to find out.
Now I got to do because essentially golly, it's crazy because the argument.
Somebody said 9% loss in revenue is significant enough to cause a CEO their job. But I mean, 9% loss in a major corporation, I definitely.
But here's the point I was going to make. I was going to say, yes, it may cause a CEO to lose their job. But if we're looking at it, if we're doing impact, statistical impact, the impact on you is greater than the impact on Target.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what that number means. You would feel that the small businesses would feel that more than Target would feel that. Because that's space, yeah.
He works in DEI, he said. Or he wants to get added on.
We'll defer to the IM, the corporate drop.
I want to drop her and bring him on.
You want to hop on? IM corporate.
He's already in the request.
Say less. What are we talking about?
I was gonna say something too. Is I'm just really like, and he dropped off before I could even ask him his perspective, which is why I wanted somebody who was on the boycott side up here. He dropped off, but I was wondering.
Oh, I know. What's up, family?
I was wondering, like,
I'm like, I ain't. Man, come on. I actually know, dude. But
okay.
yeah.
But yeah, I was like, what? I'm so curious on the boycott side. Again, we're here to foster.
I'm here to learn.
Like, and I've already learned from so many people that I'm over here. Like, I'm gathering knowledge. But I'm like, if we're on the boycott side, what is the strategy to get people on board? That's my focus because it's like, if it works, it works. That's cool. Like, I'm not against. I'm not here saying whether the boycott will make a difference or not. I think if everybody collectively did it, there's going to be a change that is going to be made. People are going to feel it. I believe that wholeheartedly. My thing is, how do you get people to get on board with boycotting in the environment we are in now, in the place that we are now? Like we said,
I mean, that's the hardest thing. We got to let brother speak, but it's a hard thing to cut. And I'm not saying it because I my own personal perspective. I'm saying it because I've watched how we've responded to every other time we talked about we wouldn't boycott Gucci. We wouldn't. I mean, they flat out was like,
bro,
the people could do whatever. So I don't even know how to answer that question. But introduce yourself. Let us know who you are. And if you
Go ahead.
I gotta see clearly, and you know how we do as black people in the car. We gotta turn down the music just to be able to focus, right?
So let us know who you are and certainly break down the stats. But I am interested in knowing: are you boycott? Are you buy, meaning targeted buying?
Yeah.
Or are you just keep it business as usual? Because which one are you? And then break down how your stats play into your decision.
All right. First of all, Robert H. Johnson Jr., aka the corporate dropout, been in corporate America for 20 plus years, frontline management, senior level executive leadership, now focusing squarely on diversity, equity, and inclusion, leadership enablement, right, and culture. So this is my space. And I'll tell you,
You about to not have a job if you work for a corporate at a company because they don't want you.
listen, my company is RHJ Consulting Group. So I have clients, and I work with clients that continue to do this work. So they would not be surprised.
There we go. Okay. So
Because my point is my position personally and professionally. So for me, it's boycott, and let me tell you why. First and foremost, Target, Walmart, McDonald's are spitting in the faces of the communities that serve them disproportionately greater than others, specifically Walmart and McDonald's. If you go I'm in Atlanta, right? And if you go to the AU Center, you got a McDonald's, you got a Burger King, you got a Walmart on campus, right? And on campus, right? You can go in any hood or ward here in Atlanta. You're gonna find a McDonald's, you're gonna find a Popeyes, you're gonna find all of these restaurants that aren't necessarily are black employed, but you tend to see that employment rate of black people be disproportionately higher on the retail side. So you're gonna see more black faces when you walk in the store. The purpose of DEI that people get screwed up, Charlemagne the God, all of these people who have negative opinions about DEI, they have benefited from DEI programs. Do you think Charlemagne the God would be where he is if iHeartRadio didn't say, oh, we have black listeners and they listen to Charlemagne the God? We need to create a platform to leverage his voice, to capitalize on his voice. Tabitha Brown. I love Tabitha Brown. I will say I'm disappointed in the position that she has taken, not to say, hey, I have products here, support me, but she doubled down and posted a tweet that said, don't let them make you think that DEI is the only reason that you're in the room. Wait a minute. You wouldn't be on the shelves of Target if they didn't have the very DEI programs that they are now committing to eliminating. So do not get so high and mighty when you talk about your wallets being affected.
But what she meant, just to asterisk by that part, please don't let my
No.
cause you to forget. An asterisk by what people may have understood her to say, to be fair, is that she may have used that as a message of empowerment.
Yes.
To say, you are here because you deserve to be here. She may not simply be saying, you aren't here because of DEI. She may not be sitting on DEI. She may be using it to actually say you're more than that. So I just want to parse that out so that we don't just gloss over that point. Not that
I agree.
Yeah, okay.
No, let me tell you, I think that she said it with positive intent. But here's the thing about Tabitha Brown. Tabitha Brown is immensely smart. She says everything on her platform with intention. And I'm just surprised that she didn't lean into the faith aspect of trust God to know that you will get into the spaces and the places that you deserve to be. Not just because you're qualified, but because God has put you there. But when you position it as, well, don't let them make you believe that DEI is the only reason you got in the room. And I responded to that tweet, only, right? You said only. So you are admitting she admitted in part that DEI is beneficial. And the reality is the data shows that one, white women disproportionately benefit, white women and veterans disproportionately benefit from black people who DEI programs were actually in the United States of America implemented to benefit. The Civil Rights Act, diversity, affirmative action, which is now known as DEI. I do think we should be boycotting Target. And I say that because it's one thing to announce that, you know what, we've reassessed our programs. And what we realize is that we're in an environment today that we need to be sensitive to the entirety, the sum, the whole, so that everyone feels that DEI programming benefits all. Because going back to the data, white men who as veterans tend to have gotten and still get more benefits than black and brown veterans
currently, medically, VA treatment, all of these things are disparately and negatively impacting Black folks. And so while this issue is so hard for us to receive, and it's hard for me, but it's actually clarifying for me, the work that I do now is more important now than ever. But the real work is the unification of a people. Jewish people are unified. Asian people are unified. Hispanic people, Mexican people are unified. And that's important. We struggle with unification for a lot of different reasons. Slavery is a big part of the reason. We don't have a history other than these United States of America. So when you tell me that I don't belong in a place that my parents and my parents' parents were born, forced to work for free, and or came over on a ship by force and then forced to work, you are continuing to minimize my value. And when companies like Target make these statements, who remember all of these ads, you go into Target, they got the Black section. You know what I mean? You go into some of these places and it's all about you. Now, all of a sudden that, and this is what I'm going to pin that, but I want to remind everybody of this. We have a new administration, and the new administration has said the government has mandated that all DEI programming must cease.
On the federal level.
On a federal level, private companies,
But independent companies can still, any government program
government.
have it.
That's what I wonder. That's
So
what
Costco, who's not a government entity, can say what they want to do. So,
But that's the difference. I want to make sure everybody understands this. The government cannot mandate that a private company stop DEI. Let me repeat this. A government cannot mandate that an organization stop programming that benefits all. And remember, DEI programs, policies benefit all. Think about people with physical disabilities, neurodiversity, LGBTQIA+, women, veterans. Those are all different dimensions of diversity that employee resource group programs elevate, uplift, develop, help get promotions. It's not just for us, but these things were started for us, but we tend, when it's looked at as if it's a Black thing, it's a problem. It's no longer valuable. Please be aware of the executive orders that this new administration is implementing and how they will disproportionately, disparately impact Black, brown, disabled, neurodiverse, LGBTQIA, all of the things that Black people started to fight for that others have benefited from are being repealed. So when we have a Tabitha Brown saying, don't let them make you think DEI is the only reason that you got here, it just frustrates me because you are sitting on the shelves of Target because of the minority diversity supplier program that they offered, and they wanted to capitalize off of your beautiful brand. So I'm going to rest my case.
I'm gonna hop in right here, and I'm going to invite you to proverbially turn to your right, maybe my left, and there's a wonderful sister who is on this screen who has a different approach. She may agree with what you're saying, but I want you to talk directly to her because she is not. She gave us an analogy that said, yes, but let it be phased out, because if it's a burning bus is the analogy, there are some of us who are on the bus. Don't just leave the Black-owned businesses on the bus to die and burn down with Target. So I respect this sister. I think she might even respect and understand some of the things that you're saying. But in the little time we have left, I want you to respond to her. And you can speak for yourself, sister. I'm just trying to advocate for you because you've been on this so long, and we respect and appreciate you for your time. What would you say? What would you say to her? She's right there, and both of y'all got love and respect for each other, but she sees it a different way because she is a brand that is on the shelves, and she don't want to be burned up. She don't want to be left with that buyback. She don't want to be just on the bus while we leave it and it burned out. What do you say to her?
First and foremost, I agree with you. I think it is a phased out intentional approach. If you're in Atlanta, I'm a part of the Atlanta Black Chambers. Become a part of the Atlanta Black Chambers, or wherever you're located. Get involved in your local chamber, because it is through the local chamber that you will be able to, regardless of what happens with big box decisions, your business will continue to grow and flourish, first and foremost. Get involved. Second, I wholeheartedly, you can't just stop tomorrow. Some of us need toilet paper. Some of us need some swag. Some of us need whatever. And what's your product system?
Oh, I own a company that creates gift boxes. So it's gift boxes featuring all Black-owned brands inside the boxes.
I love it. I love it. I support it. Drop the link because I want to support you. Someone said this to me yesterday. We were talking about this, and it just is so true. We just pivot. The young brother with the hoodie on said a word that we gotta get better at, and it's strategy. One of the reasons why we don't succeed long term is because we have a goal,
Right.
we have a dream, and we have a plan. But a plan and a goal and a dream are not strategies. The strategy, this is the vision. I got a vision.
Mhm.
I have a strategy that has goals, and then I create a plan to bring the strategy to life. We just need to diversify our portfolio, just like in investing. You're not going to keep all your money in one stock. I want to encourage you to divest, right, from places that you know are divesting in you. We can't trust these big boxes anymore because they're saying to us that, and even Walmart had already started phasing out stores in some of, the Black communities, like the neighborhood stores and things like that, right? So the message that we're being sent directly and indirectly is that your dollar is valuable, but because we can segment you, because we can separate you, because we can divide you. Remember, God is not the author of confusion and nor division. God adds so that it can multiply so that it can be exponentially greater. This is your opportunity to pivot to different options, direct to consumer. If you watch Shark Tank, one of the best things and I love Shark Tank, by the way, if you watch it, I don't care whether you Black, white, whatever you are, one of the first things they ask you is your cost of marketing, right? And if you have a high cost of marketing, the goal is that you're getting X return on that. What I would say is ask yourself, if I'm in this big box, they're taking 30, 40%. Let's call it what it is. Products in stores, typically that person is losing 30+% of the cost of their product. Coke, they're big. So Coke is a monster. We have to think, what does Steve Harvey say? Act like a lady, think like a man. We have to act like leaders and think like strategists. Act like leaders, think like strategists. You got to have a strategy. You are right in that the dream for most is to get into Target, Walmart. And I know people personally who are in Walmart, right? Walmart is not just going to say we are in Target, we're dismantling programs. What they will begin to do is move your products into different parts of the store. They will move it to lower parts of the shelves. They have a strategy.
Mhm.
We playing checkers and they playing chess at our expense. So what I would say is let's connect, because this is what I do. I work with Fortune 100 and 500 companies. This is what I do, right? And I'm committed to our progress. We just got to be willing to lose short term so that we can gain long term. That's the key to investing. Remembering this is a long-term game, not a short-term game. So if you want your product to be around in 20 years, you can't depend on Target or Walmart. You can only depend on the community that you build and that you cultivate.
Yep.
And they will do the work for you.
I agree. I just feel, and thank you for saying that, because my whole thing is that we have businesses in there that have put up a lot of capital to get to Target. And when you pull away tonight, that's a financial burden that those companies now have to deal with. And we don't have a plan for that right now. We're just saying goodbye, but yet when you say goodbye, what happens to all of that inventory sitting inside a Target today?
What you can say, what I'm about to do is rap.
Yeah.
Oh, can I say one more thing? Can I say one more thing? Here is that last part of what you said, sister. Tell me your name again.
My name is Constance.
Constance, beautiful name. Constance. What we have to do is develop a distribution strategy. I don't have to have I don't have to have just my garage. That's why getting involved in your chambers and in the local entrepreneurial think tanks in your area, wherever you live, there's a community that is willing to support you. Remember, Pinky Cole has done this very well. She's been a consistent supporter of Black-owned businesses, from the start of them to the growth of them to the acceleration of them. That's what we need to be doing. Again, big box, one component of the strategy. We were sold the dream. It's like a record label. Oh, I got to deal with Sony Records. Now the people making the money are independent artists. Think like an artist. I just think
Act like a strategy.
strategist. Back to
Yo,
you, man.
it is 6 o'clock. We began this live at 4. We thought we was gonna do 30 minutes. Then we look at each other, kicking each other tables like we're gonna do an hour. We're gonna do an hour. We're 2 hours in.
Alrighty.
And full. I mean, thank y'all. Like what we were able to, the way we were able to educate, motivate, the way we were able to leave with ideas for strategy, the way we were able to develop a level of empathy and compassion, the way we were able to understand. I'm just grateful for what we witnessed in this space. We want to support everyone who came onto this live. We've made a commitment to Dad 365. We're going to get $100 worth of his products. Sister, is there a way? I don't know how your business structure is, but we'd like to financially.
No problem, because actually I have worked with you guys in the past. I think 2 years ago, but I will. DM, I will DM you.
And we want to help. Bro. Thank you for helping us close
The corporate dropout is perfect.
Yeah. And we don't know it all. We've had some success. We were in Target last year. We aren't this year. But some of the things that you offered, we need to do better at. There's so much that we don't even know. We're figuring this out. I mean, this is when it's small Black-owned business and brand. We've had some success, but we're still learning. Thank each of you. It's 6:02. This is the beginning of a conversation. Let's grow together. Thank you so much. Thank y'all for joining us. You can support us. Oh, this is what I do want to say. You can support us by visiting our site and buying from us direct. That's a given. You all know that. But we aren't in Target this year for Black History Month, so we're independently releasing a Black History Month collection and capsule with products that we're releasing, new designs, and we're working with some other designers, Black-owned designers, to offer us some new gear in our collection. We're paying them to join us and our design team, and this platform has always been about leveraging it to grow ourselves and to grow and to support as many of us other Black-owned businesses as we can. We believe the Black George revolutionary, and at the end of the day, don't walk around with your head down. This stuff that we're going through is not new, but our joy is a radical act of resistance. You're worthy of your joy. You're worthy, and you deserve to be able to smile. And what the trick of the devil is to take that away from you and make you feel like you aren't even worthy of the pursuit of your joy. This conversation, no matter where you land, if you're committed to and passionate about supporting, that is part of the pursuit. You're worthy of the pursuit. And we give thanks for each of you. And just thank y'all for rocking with us. Blackness Mile is 10 this year. We've been doing this since 2014. And it's because of y'all that we're still here. So thank y'all so much. And Jay, send us out, bro.
Yeah. I think it's crazy. Like we said, we usually don't go live on Sundays unless it's Sunday school. And this felt like Sunday school because we all came on here and my brother brought us home with the literal word.
Yeah.
Also, everybody on here has been respectful, has been able to learn from each other and educate each other, which is what Sunday school was about bringing different perspectives and talking these things and learning from each other. So I think it's beautiful that we were all able to have this conversation, that we were all able to just gain more awareness, more knowledge. And what honestly it did is, for me, is it felt like things that felt so far apart, bringing them together. And it felt like we actually began that process of unity. And like we said, I think we all just need to go away from this with strategy, with how do we go about unifying our community and unifying around this issue, because that's the first step. No matter what direction we take, no matter how we approach it, we need to be unified in the way that we do it. So I'm super grateful that we were all able to come on here and have these conversations. Like I said, I learned a lot, and we went 2 whole hours.
That's crazy.
And it don't even feel like it. I was
That's crazy
the whole time. So thank you for everybody who joined. Thank you to everybody who supported, who shared. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's a wrap. And continue the conversations with your own people. Continue the conversations in our comments and the sections here is where we can continue to just have good, positive dialogue. But that's it, y'all.
Cool. And if we're able to get some of the people who weren't able to join us to get some of their perspectives, particularly retail while Black, and maybe even some of the other brands that are currently in Target that we were part of the capsule that we were part of last year, we would love to continue that conversation. Thank y'all so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we out.